A daughter's desperation, the fluorescent lights of Massachusetts. General Hospital buzzed overhead as Amelia Brooks sat in the uncomfortable plastic chair outside the ICU. Her hands trembled as she clutched the medical bills that had arrived that morning. $200,000. The numbers blurred through her tears as she tried to comprehend how she would ever pay for her father's cancer treatment. Thomas Brooks had been her entire world. Since her mother passed away when Amelia was 12, he raised her alone, working double shifts as a firefighter to put her through art school. Now, at 58, stage 4 pancreatic cancer was stealing him away, and the experimental treatment that might save him was astronomically expensive. Amelia wiped her eyes quickly as Dr. Patterson approached. The oncologist's expression was carefully neutral. But Amelia had learned to read the subtle signs of bad news over the past 3 months. "Oh, yes. We need to discuss the next steps," Dr. Patterson said gently, sitting beside her. "Your father's insurance has reached its maximum coverage. Without the new immunotherapy protocol, I'm afraid we're looking at weeks, maybe a month or 2 at most." The words hit Amelia like physical blows. There has to be something. Loans, payment plans, anything. Dr. Patterson's sympathetic gaze told her everything. No bank would lend that kind of money to a 20-year-old art teacher making $35,000 a year. They both knew it. After the doctor left, Amelia returned to her father's room. Thomas was sleeping, his once strong frame now frail under the thin hospital blanket. She held his hand, memorizing every detail of his weathered face. "I'll find a way, Dad," she whispered. "I promise." The unexpected encounter, 3 days later. Amelia found herself at the Boston Children's Hospital annual charity gala. She only attended because her best friend, Jade, worked in the events department and needed volunteers to help coordinate the silent auction. Amelia couldn't afford the ticket, but she could donate her time. The ballroom of the Four Seasons Hotel glittered with crystal chandeliers and designer gowns. Amelia felt out of place in her simple black dress from Target. But she focused on her job of managing the art auction section.
Ow.
"This piece is extraordinary," a deep voice said behind her. Amelia turned to find a man examining one of the donated paintings. He was tall, probably 6'2", with dark hair that fell slightly over his forehead and intense blue eyes that seemed to see right through her. His tailored suit probably cost more than her entire wardrobe. "It's a local artist," Amelia explained, slipping into her teacher mode. "She uses recycled materials to create commentary on consumer culture. The texture comes from actual credit card fragments embedded in the acrylic." The man's eyes lit up with genuine interest. "You have an excellent eye. Are you an artist yourself?" "I teach art at Lincoln High School," Amelia said, then added quickly, "I paint in my free time, but nothing like this." "I'd love to see your work sometime." He extended his hand. Ryan Mitchell. Amelia's breath caught. Everyone in Boston knew that name. Ryan Mitchell, 35-year-old founder of Mitchell Technologies, had revolutionized cybersecurity software and was worth an estimated $3 billion. He regularly appeared on magazine covers and tech industry panels. "Amelia Brooks," she managed, shaking his hand. His grip was warm and firm. Amelia Brooks. Something in the way he said her name made her heart skip. They talked for the next hour. Or rather, Ryan asked questions, and Amelia found herself opening up in ways she normally didn't with strangers. He seemed genuinely interested in her teaching philosophy, her students, even her thoughts on the charity's mission. Not once did he check his phone or glance around the room looking for more important people to network with. When Jade frantically signaled that Amelia was needed elsewhere, she reluctantly excused herself. "Wait," Ryan said, pulling out a business card. "Have dinner with me tomorrow night." Amelia stared at the embossed card. "Why?" "Because I haven't had a conversation this engaging in months," he said simply. "Because you look at art the way I look at code, like it matters. And because I'd very much like to continue getting to know you, against her better judgment." Amelia took the card. The proposal that changed everything the restaurant Ryan chose was intimate and expensive. The kind of place where the menu didn't list prices. Amelia had borrowed a dress from Jade, who insisted this was clearly a date despite Amelia's protest that billionaires didn't date high school teachers, but as the evening progressed, It felt less like a date and more like meeting someone she'd known forever. Ryan talked about growing up in foster care, building his company from a dorm room idea, the loneliness that came with success. Amelia shared stories about her students, her father, her dreams of opening a community art center someday. It was only when dessert arrived that the conversation turned serious. "Amelia, I'm going to be direct because I respect you too much to play games," Ryan said, setting down his fork. "I need your help with something, and in return, I can help you with your father's medical expenses." Amelia's stomach dropped. "I don't understand." Ryan took a deep breath. "6 months ago, my company went public. The board of directors is pressuring me to present a more stable, family-oriented image. They believe my bachelor lifestyle makes me seem reckless, which affects stock prices and investor confidence. I need a wife." The room seemed to spin. "You're asking me to marry you?" "We just met." "I'm proposing a business arrangement," Ryan clarified, though his eyes showed something more complicated. "A 2-year marriage contract. You'd live in my home, attend social events as my wife, and help me present the image the board wants. In return, I'll pay for your father's treatment in full, including any experimental therapies, and provide you with a substantial financial settlement when we divorce." "This is insane," Amelia whispered. "People don't actually do this. I've already had my lawyers draft a contract. Everything would be spelled out clearly. Separate bedrooms, complete financial transparency, and an amicable divorce after 2 years. Your father would never have to worry about medical bills again." Amelia's mind raced. $200,000. Her father's life? 2 years of pretending to love someone she barely knew. "Why me?" she asked. "You could have any woman in Boston." Ryan's expression softened. "Because in 3 hours of conversation, you haven't once asked about my money or my company. You talked about your student's potential and your father's strength. You're genuine, Amelia. That's rarer than you think in my world." "I need time to think," Amelia said, her voice barely audible. "Of course, take all the time you need." Ryan pulled out an envelope. "This is the contract. Read it carefully. Consult a lawyer if you'd like. I'll cover any legal fees." The impossible decision. Amelia didn't sleep that night. She read the contract 17 times, each pass making the surreal situation feel more real. The terms were generous, almost too generous. Full medical coverage for her father. A monthly allowance of $10,000 for personal expenses. A trust fund of $5 million upon divorce. Complete freedom to continue teaching. The only requirements were attending public events together, living in the same house, and maintaining the appearance of a loving marriage. There was even a clause about physical intimacy, completely optional and requiring explicit mutual consent. At dawn, she drove to the hospital. Her father was awake, looking slightly better after a good night's rest. "I need to talk to you about something," Amelia began, then explained everything. Thomas listened without interrupting, his firefighter training making him good at staying calm during crises. When she finished, he took her hand. "Baby girl, I won't pretend to understand rich people's problems," he said quietly. "But I know you. You're thinking about doing this for me, and I need you to hear this clearly. I would rather die than have you sell your life for mine." "Dad, don't let me finish." His grip tightened. "If you do this, it has to be because some part of you wants to. Maybe you're curious about him. Maybe you need a change. Maybe there's something there worth exploring. But don't you dare sacrifice yourself just for medical bills. I've lived a good life, Amelia. I'm at peace." Tears streamed down Amelia's face. "I'm not ready to lose you." "Then buy us both some time," Thomas said wisely. "Take the deal if you want, but promise me you'll really live during these 2 years. Don't just go through the motions. If you're going to do this crazy thing, make it mean something." 3 days later, Amelia called Ryan. "I'll do it," she said. "But I have one additional condition." "Name it." "We try to actually know each other. Real conversations, honest feelings. If I'm going to wear your ring even temporarily, I want to at least be real friends." There was a long pause. Then Ryan's voice came through, warm and relieved. "I'd like that very much. The wedding contract The engagement was announced 2 weeks later. The media went wild with speculation. Society pages ran headlines like "Tech Billionaire Finds Love with Schoolteacher" and "Modern Fairy Tale Unfolds in Boston." Amelia's phone exploded, with calls from distant relatives and old acquaintances she hadn't heard from in years. Her father's treatment began immediately. The oncology team at Massachusetts General was excited to try the new immunotherapy protocol. Within a week, Thomas showed small signs of improvement. "You gave me hope again, sweetheart," he told Amelia during one of her daily visits. "Whatever happens with this arrangement, you gave me that gift." The wedding was planned for 6 weeks later. Ryan insisted on involving Amelia in every decision, though she felt overwhelmed by the scale. The venue was the Boston Public Library, chosen because Amelia loved books more than grand ballrooms. The guest list was kept surprisingly small. Mostly Ryan's business associates and board members who needed to witness this image. Rehabilitation. Jade was her only bridesmaid, alternating between excitement and concern. "Are you sure about this?" Jade asked during a dress fitting. "I mean, he seems great, but this is basically a business transaction." Amelia looked at herself in the mirror, wearing a simple but elegant ivory gown. "I'm terrified," she admitted. "But Dad's getting better. And Ryan has been nothing but respectful and kind." "Maybe that's enough," Jade said doubtfully. "Just promise me you'll protect your heart. Billionaires don't fall for regular girls in real life." But as Amelia studied her reflection, she wondered if maybe, just maybe, her best friend was wrong. The night before the wedding, Ryan asked to meet her at the Boston Common. They walked along the pond as the sun set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. "Are you having second thoughts?" Ryan asked gently. "About a dozen per hour," Amelia admitted. "Are you?" "Not one." He stopped walking and turned to face her. "Amelia, I want you to know something. Yes, this started as a business arrangement. But these past few weeks, getting to know you, I've started to hope for something more. I'm not asking you to feel the same way. I just wanted to be honest." Amelia's heart thundered in her chest. "Ryan, You don't have to respond," he interrupted. "I just wanted you to know that when I say my vows tomorrow, they won't be entirely pretend. Whatever you feel or don't feel is okay. But I'm starting to care about you, Amelia Brooks. Really care." He kissed her forehead gently, then walked her back to her apartment. Amelia lay awake all night, her mind spinning with possibilities she hadn't allowed herself to consider. Maybe this contract marriage could become something real. Maybe she was already falling for the man behind the billions. Maybe, just maybe, fairy tales could happen, even in the most unexpected ways. As dawn broke on her wedding day, Amelia made a decision. She would go into this with an open heart. Not naive, but open. Ryan had been honest about his growing feelings. The least she could do was be honest with herself. She was scared. She was hopeful. And she was about to marry a man who promised to be gentle with her. Heart that had to count for something. The wedding day, the Boston Public Library, had been transformed into something magical. White roses and soft candlelight filled the historic building's beautiful courtyard. Amelia stood in the bride's preparation room, her hands trembling as Jade adjusted her veil. "You look absolutely stunning," Jade whispered, tears in her eyes. "Like a princess from one of those romance novels you love." Amelia studied herself in the full-length mirror. The ivory gown was simple but elegant, with delicate lace sleeves and a flowing skirt. Her dark hair was swept up in a soft updo, with a few loose curls framing her face. She looked like a bride. A real bride. "I can't believe this is actually happening," Amelia said quietly. A knock on the door interrupted them. It was her father, looking stronger than he had in months. The new treatment was working. His eyes filled with tears when he saw her. "Oh, baby girl," Thomas said, his voice breaking. "Your mother would be so proud. You look just like her on our wedding day." Amelia hugged him carefully, not wanting to wrinkle either of their outfits. "Are you feeling okay?" "Strong enough to walk me down the aisle." "I wouldn't miss it for the world," Thomas said firmly. "Besides, I want to get a good look at this young man who's promising to take care of my daughter." The music began. Jade went first, walking down the aisle with a bouquet of white peonies. Then it was Amelia's turn. The courtyard fell silent as she appeared. 200 guests turned to look, but Amelia only saw one person. Ryan stood at the altar in a perfectly tailored black tuxedo. His blue eyes locked on her with an intensity that made her breath catch as she walked down the aisle on her father's arm. Amelia noticed the way Ryan's expression shifted. His usual composed businessman demeanor cracked, revealing something raw and vulnerable. His eyes were bright with unshed tears. When they reached the altar, Thomas placed Amelia's hand in Ryan's. "Take care of her," he whispered, loud enough for only them to hear. "She's my entire world, I promise," Ryan said, his voice thick with emotion. "I'll protect her with everything I have." The ceremony began. The officiant spoke about love, commitment, and partnership. Amelia barely heard the words. She was too focused on Ryan's face, on the way his thumb gently traced circles on her hand, on the genuine emotion she saw in his eyes. Then came the vows. "Amelia," Ryan began, his voice steady but filled with feeling. "6 weeks ago, I thought I knew what I was looking for. A convenient arrangement, a simple solution to a complicated problem. But then I met you, and everything changed." He paused, taking a deep breath. Several guests shifted uncomfortably, clearly not expecting such personal words at what they assumed was a business merger dressed as a wedding. "You taught me that real wealth isn't in bank accounts or stock portfolios," Ryan continued. "It's in moments of genuine connection. It's in conversations that last until 3 a.m. because neither person wants to say goodbye. It's in the way you light up when you talk about your students. It's in your fierce love for your father. It's in your kind heart." Amelia felt tears sliding down her cheeks. "Stand before you today and make this promise," Ryan said, his voice dropping to an intimate tone as if they were the only two people in the room. "I promise to honor you, to respect you, to never take advantage of your generous spirit. And I promise, Amelia, to be gentle with your heart, always gentle, because you've entrusted me with something precious, and I won't let you down." The courtyard was completely silent. Even the officiant looked moved. Now it was Amelia's turn. She hadn't prepared anything, assuming she'd just repeat traditional vows. But looking into Ryan's eyes, words came flowing from her heart. "Ryan, I came into this terrified," she admitted, her voice shaking. "I thought I was making a practical decision, a sacrifice for my family. But you've shown me something unexpected. You've shown me that kindness isn't weakness. That vulnerability takes courage. That maybe, just maybe, the best things in life are the ones we never saw coming." She squeezed his hands. "I promise to give this a real chance, to not hold back out of fear, to be honest about my feelings even when they scare me. And I promise to see you, Ryan Mitchell, not the billionaire, not the CEO, just the man who loves old movies and terrible puns, and who spent 3 hours last Tuesday helping my students with their art projects because you wanted to understand what I love about teaching." Ryan's eyes widened. He hadn't realized she knew about that visit. "I can't promise I won't be scared sometimes," Amelia continued, "but I promise to try, to really try to make this work. Because you deserve someone who sees how incredible you are." The officiant cleared his throat, clearly moved. "By the power vested in me by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Ryan, you may kiss your bride." Ryan stepped closer, his hands cupping Amelia's face with infinite gentleness. "Are you ready?" he whispered, giving her one last chance to change her mind. Instead of answering, Amelia closed the distance between them. The kiss was soft at first, tentative, but then something shifted. Ryan's arms wrapped around her waist, pulling her closer. Amelia's hands slid up to his shoulders. The kiss deepened, becoming something real and passionate and full of promise. When they finally broke apart, both breathless, the courtyard erupted in applause. But Amelia barely heard it. She was too busy staring at her husband, realizing with startling clarity that this wasn't pretend anymore. She was falling in love with Ryan Mitchell, The first night the reception was elegant but intimate. Ryan had insisted on keeping it small, wanting Amelia to feel comfortable rather than overwhelmed. They cut the cake, shared their first dance to an acoustic version of At Last, and endured endless toasts from Ryan's business associates. But through it all, Ryan never left Amelia's side. His hand stayed on the small of her back, protective and reassuring. He introduced her to everyone with genuine pride, not as a business arrangement, but as his wife. "You're doing great," he whispered during a rare, quiet moment. "I know this is overwhelming." "I'm okay," Amelia said, and realized she meant it. "As long as you're here?" Something flickered in Ryan's eyes. Hope, maybe, or joy. Around 10 o'clock, they left the reception in Ryan's car. The driver took them to Ryan's home in Beacon Hill, a beautiful brownstone that somehow managed to feel both luxurious and inviting. "Welcome home, Mrs. Mitchell," Ryan said as they entered. Amelia's stomach fluttered nervously. This was it. Their first night as a married couple. The contract had been clear about physical intimacy being optional, but after that kiss at the altar, Amelia wasn't sure what she wanted anymore. Ryan seemed to sense her anxiety. "Your bedroom is upstairs, second door on the left," he said gently. "I'm in the master suite at the end of the hall. There's no pressure, Amelia. We can take this as slow as you need." "Wait," Amelia said before he could walk away. "Can we just talk for a while?" "I'm too wired to sleep." Ryan's face brightened. "I'd love that. How about some tea?" They ended up in Ryan's living room, sitting on opposite ends of a comfortable couch with mugs of chamomile tea. Amelia had changed into soft pajamas, and Ryan wore a simple t-shirt and sweatpants. Without the formal wedding attire, they both felt more relaxed. "Tell me about her," Amelia said. "The woman who hurt you." Ryan's jaw tightened. "How did you know there was someone?" "Because people don't create business arrangement marriages unless they've been badly burned by love." Ryan was quiet for a long moment. Then he started talking. "Her name was Diana Hayes. We met 7 years ago when she joined Mitchell Technologies as our chief marketing officer. She was brilliant, ambitious, beautiful. We dated for 3 years. I thought she was the one." He took a sip of tea, his expression distant. "I proposed on our anniversary. She said yes. We started planning the wedding. Everything seemed perfect. Then I discovered she'd been secretly working with our biggest competitor, feeding them proprietary information in exchange for a promised executive position once she helped bring down Mitchell Technologies." Amelia gasped. "Ryan, that's awful." "The betrayal wasn't even the worst part," Ryan continued, his voice hollow. "It was realizing I'd been so blind. She never loved me. She loved what I could give her: access, power, opportunities. When I confronted her, she didn't even try to deny it. She just laughed and said, I was naive to think someone like her could actually love someone as boring as me." "You're not boring," Amelia said fiercely. Ryan smiled sadly. "The point is, after Diana, I built walls. I threw myself into work. I stopped believing in genuine connection. That's why the board's pressure to marry felt so impossible. I couldn't imagine letting anyone close enough to hurt me again, until you met me," Amelia said softly. "Until I met you," Ryan confirmed. "And you terrified me, Amelia. Because from that first conversation at the charity gala, I felt something I thought I'd killed off. Hope, interest, the desire to know everything about another person." He turned to face her fully. "I know this started as a contract, but somewhere along the way, it became real for me. You became real. And I need you to know that if you never feel the same way, I'll understand. I'll honor our agreement. But I'm done pretending this is just business." Amelia's heart was racing. "I'm scared," she admitted. "Of me. Of how much I'm starting to feel," Amelia clarified. "Ryan, I went into this thinking I could keep my heart protected, that I could play the role of wife without actually becoming emotionally invested. But I can't. When you look at me the way you did at the altar, when you talk about me to other people with such pride, when you remember little details about my life, I feel myself falling. And it terrifies me because what if this doesn't work? What if 2 years from now, we part ways and I'm completely shattered? Ryan moved closer, taking her hands. Then we'll both be shattered, he said simply. Because, Amelia, I'm already too far gone to walk away unscathed. You've gotten under my skin in the best possible way. What do we do now? Amelia whispered. We be honest, Ryan said. No more pretending. No more holding back out of fear. We give this a real shot. Not because a contract says so, but because we both want to. Amelia looked into his eyes and saw her own feelings reflected back. Fear, yes, but also hope, and something that might, given time, become love. Okay, she said. Real, no more pretending. Ryan smiled, that genuine smile that made him look younger and more carefree. Does that mean I can kiss my wife again? Instead of answering, Amelia closed the distance between them. This kiss was different from the one at the altar. It was slower, deeper, full of promise and possibility. Ryan's hands tangled in her hair, while Amelia's fingers traced the strong line of his jaw. When they finally broke apart, both breathing heavily, Ryan rested his forehead against hers. Stay with me tonight, he whispered. Not because of the contract. Not because of expectations, just because we want to be close to each other. I want that, Amelia admitted. But Ryan, I need you to know something. I've never been with anyone before. Ryan pulled back to look at her, his expression soft with understanding. We don't have to do anything you're not ready for, he assured her. We can just sleep. Just be together. What if I want more? Amelia asked, blushing. What if I want to be close to you in every way? Ryan's eyes darkened with desire, but his voice remained gentle. Then, I promise to be patient. To go at your pace. To make sure every moment is about you feeling safe and cherished. Because, Amelia, you're precious to me. I meant what I said in my vows. I'll always be gentle with you. Those words, that promise, melted the last of Amelia's resistance. They moved to Ryan's bedroom, a spacious room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city lights. Ryan lit candles, put on soft music, and then turned to Amelia with infinite patience in his eyes. We can stop any time, he reminded her. But Amelia didn't want to stop. For the first time in her life, she wanted to be completely vulnerable with another person. What followed was tender and sweet. Ryan kept his promise, going slowly, making sure Amelia felt comfortable every step of the way. He whispered words of affection, asked permission before every touch. And when they finally came together, it felt like more than physical intimacy. It felt like two people choosing each other. Afterward, they lay tangled together in the sheets, Amelia's head on Ryan's chest as he gently stroked her hair. Are you okay? He asked softly. More than okay, Amelia murmured, feeling safe and cherished in a way she never had before. That was perfect. You're perfect, Ryan corrected, kissing the top of her head, as Amelia drifted off to sleep in her husband's arms. She thought about how much had changed in 6 weeks. She'd entered into a contract marriage expecting nothing but a business arrangement. Instead, she'd found something real, something precious, something that might actually last beyond 2 years. The storm approaching the next 2 months passed in a blissful haze. Amelia moved into Ryan's brownstone, slowly adding her personal touches to make it feel like their home rather than just his. She kept teaching, refusing to give up the career she loved despite Ryan's wealth. And every evening, they'd come together to share dinner, talk about their days, and fall more deeply in love. Thomas continued to improve. The experimental treatment was working beyond anyone's expectations. He was even talking about returning to light work duties at the fire station. You gave me my life back, sweetheart, he told Amelia during one of her visits. Both of you did. I like Ryan. He's good to you. I see it in your eyes. Everything seemed perfect. Too perfect. Amelia should have known it couldn't last. The first sign of trouble came at a charity gala they attended together. Amelia wore a midnight blue gown Ryan had insisted on buying her, and she felt like a princess on his arm. They were laughing at something Ryan's business partner had said when a familiar voice cut through the crowd. Ah, Ryan Mitchell. It's been too long. Amelia turned to see a stunning woman approaching. She had perfectly styled platinum blonde hair, sharp green eyes, and a designer dress that probably cost more than Amelia made in 6 months. Everything about her screamed power and sophistication. Ryan's entire body tensed. Diana. This was her, the woman who had betrayed him? Diana Hayes looked Amelia up and down with barely concealed contempt. So this is the new wife. How quaint. I heard you married a school teacher. Quite the downgrade from marketing executive, wouldn't you say? Watch yourself, Ryan warned, his voice cold. Oh, relax, Diana said with a cruel smile. I'm sure she's perfectly nice. Probably has a very sweet personality to make up for the lack of sophistication. Amelia felt her cheeks burn with humiliation. Around them, other guests were starting to notice the confrontation. We're leaving, Ryan said, taking Amelia's hand. Running away already! Diana called after them. Tell me, Ryan, does she know this is just another business arrangement? Does she know about the contract? Or does she actually believe you're capable of real love? Amelia froze. How did Diana know about the contract? The drive home was silent. Ryan was furious, his jaw clenched tight. Amelia felt numb, Diana's words echoing in her mind. Once inside the brownstone, Ryan finally exploded. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you had to meet her. I had no idea she'd be there. How does she know about our contract? Amelia asked quietly. Ryan ran his hands through his hair. I don't know. The only people who know are my lawyers, your father and Jade. Unless someone leaked it. Or unless it's not as secret as we thought, Amelia said, feeling the first stirrings of real fear. Ryan, if this gets out, if people find out our marriage started as a business deal, your reputation will be destroyed. Everything we've done will be for nothing. I don't care about my reputation, Ryan said fiercely. I care about you. About us. But your company, your board, can go to hell if they expect me to choose them over you, Ryan interrupted. He pulled Amelia into his arms. Listen to me. What we have is real. It doesn't matter how it started. What matters is what we've built. And I refuse to let Diana or anyone else destroy that. Amelia wanted to believe him. But Diana's appearance had shaken something loose inside her. All her old fears and insecurities came rushing back. When everything falls apart, Amelia's world narrowed to the sound of her own heartbeat as she raced through the hospital corridors. The nurse's words kept repeating in her mind. Cardiac event. Complications from treatment. Critical condition. She burst into the ICU waiting room to find Ryan already there. Still wearing his business suit from an early morning meeting, he stood immediately when he saw her. How did you know? Amelia asked, her voice breaking. The hospital called me as your emergency contact, Ryan explained, pulling her into his arms. I came straight here. Amelia, your father collapsed during his physical therapy session. They're working on him now. Amelia couldn't breathe. After months of improvement, after finally having hope, this couldn't be happening. The treatment was working. He was getting better. The doctor said this can happen, Ryan said gently. His heart was weakened by the cancer and the aggressive treatment protocol. They're doing everything they can. Dr. Patterson emerged from the ICU, his expression grave. Miss Brooks, Mr. Mitchell, your father's heart is failing. We've stabilized him for now, but he needs a transplant. Without one, I'm afraid he has days, maybe a week at most. Put him on the transplant list, Amelia said immediately. It's not that simple, Dr. Patterson said carefully. The waiting list for hearts is extremely long. Given his age and medical history, realistically, we're looking at months or even years before a match becomes available. He doesn't have that kind of time. Then what do we do? Amelia's voice rose in desperation. There has to be something. There's an experimental program at Johns Hopkins, the doctor said. They're using artificial heart technology as a bridge to transplant. It's expensive and risky, but it might buy him time. How expensive? Ryan asked. Around $2 million? And that's just for the device and surgery. The ongoing care would be additional. Do it, Ryan said without hesitation. Whatever it costs, get him into that program. Dr. Patterson looked relieved. I'll make the calls. We'll need to transport him to Baltimore as soon as he's stable enough to move. After the doctor left, Amelia turned to Ryan with tears streaming down her face. $2 million. Ryan, that's not part of our contract. You don't have to stop, Ryan said firmly, taking her face in his hands. Amelia, listen to me. Your father is my family now too. I'm not doing this because of a contract. I'm doing it because I love you, and I love the man who raised such an incredible woman. Money means nothing if I can't use it to help the people I care about. I don't deserve you, Amelia whispered. You deserve everything, Ryan countered, and I'm going to spend the rest of our lives proving that to you. They were allowed to see Thomas briefly. He looked small and fragile in the hospital bed, hooked up to multiple machines. But when he saw them, he managed a weak smile. Hey, baby girl, he rasped. Sorry for the scare. Dad, don't talk, Amelia said, taking his hand. Save your strength. Ryan's getting you into a special program. They're going to fix this. Thomas looked at Ryan. You're spending a fortune on an old firefighter. You're not just an old firefighter, Ryan said, his voice thick with emotion. You're the man who raised the woman I love. You're the reason she's kind and strong and capable of seeing the best in people. That makes you priceless, sir. Thomas squeezed Ryan's hand weakly. Take care of her if I don't make it. You're going to make it, Ryan said fiercely, and I'll take care of her regardless. For the rest of my life, the truth comes out while Thomas was being prepared for transport to Johns Hopkins. Amelia and Ryan returned to the brownstone to pack. Amelia was mechanically throwing clothes into a suitcase when Ryan's phone rang. She heard his sharp intake of breath and turned, to see him staring at his phone screen with fury. Written across his face, "What is it?" Amelia asked. Wordlessly, Ryan handed her the phone. It was a news alert from Boston Business Journal. Mitchell Technologies CEO's sham marriage exposed. Contract wife revealed. Amelia's stomach dropped as she read the article. Someone had leaked their entire marriage contract to the press. Every detail was there. The 2-year agreement, the financial compensation, the clause about maintaining separate bedrooms, the business reasons behind the arrangement. Diana, Ryan said, his voice deadly calm. She must have bribed someone in my lawyer's office. The article painted a damning picture. It suggested Ryan had deceived his board and investors by staging a fake marriage. It implied Amelia was a gold digger who sold herself for her father's medical bills. It questioned everything about their relationship. Amelia's phone started ringing, then Ryan's, then both their phones simultaneously. Reporters, board members, friends. Everyone wanted a statement. We need to respond, Amelia said numbly. This will destroy your company. I don't care about the company right now, Ryan said. Your father needs us focused. Everything else can wait. But everything else wouldn't wait. By the time they arrived at Johns Hopkins that evening, the story had exploded across social media. Hashtags like contract wife and fake marriage were trending. Opinion pieces debated the morality of their arrangement. Ryan's board was demanding an emergency meeting. Amelia sat in the hospital waiting room while Thomas underwent his procedure, watching her phone blow up with notifications, cruel comments from strangers, think pieces about whether love could bloom from a business transaction, speculation about whether their relationship was real or still just an act. Jade called, frantic. Amelia, are you okay? I've been trying to reach you for hours. My dad's in surgery, Amelia said tiredly. And apparently my entire life is being dissected by the internet? I'm so sorry, Jade said. For what it's worth, anyone who knows you knows you're not a gold digger. You love Ryan. That's obvious to everyone, is it? Amelia asked. Because right now, looking at all these comments, I'm starting to wonder if people will ever believe we're real. After they hung up, Ryan found her staring at her phone with empty eyes. He gently took it from her hands and set it aside. Don't read that garbage, he said. Those people don't know us. They don't know what we've built. But they're not entirely wrong, Amelia said quietly. It did start as a contract. We can't deny that. So what? Ryan said. Lots of relationships start in unconventional ways. The beginning doesn't invalidate what we have now, doesn't it? Amelia looked at him with tears in her eyes. Ryan, be honest with me. If it wasn't for the contract, Would you have ever looked twice at someone like me? A nobody teacher from a working-class family? Don't do this, Ryan warned. Don't let Diana and these vultures make you doubt us. Not doubting us, Amelia said. I'm doubting myself. Wondering if I was naive to think a fairy tale could be real? Before Ryan could respond, Dr. Patterson emerged. The surgery was successful. We've implanted the artificial heart. Thomas is stable and resting. You can see him in a few hours once he wakes up. The relief was overwhelming. At least something was going right. The final battle the next morning. Ryan had to return to Boston for the emergency board meeting. He didn't want to leave Amelia, but she insisted he go defend their relationship and his company. I'll be fine, Amelia assured him. Dad's stable. You need to handle this. The board meeting was brutal. The directors were furious about the deception. They felt manipulated and demanded explanations. Diana was there too, having convinced the board to hear her perspective as Ryan's former partner and employee. I tried to warn you all, Diana said with false sympathy. Ryan is brilliant at business, but he's emotionally unstable after our breakup. This fake marriage was just another scheme, and now it's blown up in everyone's faces. The stock price has dropped 15% since the story broke. That's enough, Ryan said coldly. You leaked that contract? You orchestrated this entire disaster because you couldn't handle the fact that I moved on and found something real. Real. Diana laughed. You paid a desperate woman to play house with you. That's not love. That's pathetic. Ryan stood, his composure finally snapping. You want to know what's pathetic, Diana? Spending years of your life trying to destroy someone who stopped caring about you months ago. Yes, my marriage to Amelia started as a contract, but it became real. She became the most important person in my world. And nothing you do or say will change that, he turned to the board. I understand if you want me to step down as CEO. I understand if the deception is too much to overlook. But I won't apologize for finding love in an unconventional way. And I won't let any of you make me feel ashamed of my wife. One of the older board members, Catherine Chen, spoke up. Ryan, we're not asking you to apologize for love. We're asking how you plan to restore investor confidence. This scandal has damaged the company's reputation. Then let me fix it, Ryan said. Give me one chance to make this right. I'll do a tell-all interview. I'll be completely honest about everything. The contract, the reasons behind it, and how it evolved into genuine love. People respond to authenticity. Let me show them the truth, the board agreed reluctantly. Ryan had 48 hours to turn public opinion around, or he'd be forced to resign. The truth sets them free, Ryan arranged an exclusive interview with Amanda Richards, a respected journalist known for tough but fair reporting. The interview would air live, giving Ryan no chance to edit or control the narrative. He called Amelia before it started. I'm about to tell the world everything. About the contract, about us, about how I fell in love with you. Is that okay? More than okay, Amelia said. Tell them the truth, Ryan. All of it. The interview began with Amanda diving straight in. Mr. Mitchell, let's address the elephant in the room. Your marriage was originally a business contract. True or false? True, Ryan said, without hesitation. 2 months ago, my board pressured me to present a more stable, family-oriented image. I was still damaged from a bad relationship and couldn't imagine opening myself up to genuine love again. So I proposed a contract marriage to Amelia Brooks. Because in one conversation at a charity event, she made me laugh for the first time in years. She saw me as a person, not a dollar sign. And when I learned her father needed expensive medical treatment, I saw an opportunity for a mutually beneficial arrangement. That sounds calculated, Amanda observed. It was Ryan admitted. At first, but here's what I didn't anticipate. Falling completely in love with my contract wife. He looked directly into the camera. Amelia, I know you're watching. I need to say this publicly so everyone knows how I feel. You walked into my life when I was closed off and cynical. You showed me that vulnerability isn't weakness, that kindness matters, that love can grow in unexpected places. His voice grew thick with emotion. Our marriage might have started as a contract, but it became real the moment you smiled at me. It became real when you listened to my fears at 3 in the morning. It became real when I realized I'd rather spend one genuine hour with you than a lifetime with someone more appropriate by society's standards. So you're saying you truly love her? Amanda pressed. I'm saying I'm completely, irrevocably in love with her, Ryan said firmly. And I don't care who knows it. Yes, I paid her father's medical bills. Yes, there was a contract. But what grew between us transcends any legal document. Amelia is my best friend, my partner, and the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. The interview went on for another 30 minutes, with Ryan answering every question with brutal honesty. He acknowledged his mistakes, explained his growth, and passionately defended Amelia against every implication that she was a gold digger. By the end, even Amanda Richards looked moved. Mr. Mitchell, thank you for your honesty. I think a lot of people will see this in a new light. The reaction was immediate. Social media exploded, but this time with support. People were touched by Ryan's vulnerability. They appreciated his honesty. The hashtag changed from contract wife to real love. Diana's plan had backfired spectacularly. Instead of destroying Ryan, she'd given him a platform to declare his love publicly, making their bond even stronger. Coming home, Amelia watched the interview from her father's hospital room with tears streaming down her face. Thomas, recovering well from his surgery, squeezed her hand. That man loves you, he said simply. Anyone with eyes can see it. I know, Amelia whispered. I love him too. So much, it scares me. Good love should be a little scary, Thomas said wisely. It means you're willing to risk everything for it. Ryan arrived in Baltimore that night, rushing straight from the airport to the hospital. He found Amelia in the waiting room and immediately pulled her into his arms. I meant every word, he said. Every single word. I know, Amelia said, pulling back to look at him. Ryan, I need to say something too. I've been so afraid of admitting how I really feel. Afraid it would give you power to hurt me. Afraid I wasn't enough for you. But watching that interview, hearing you be so brave and vulnerable, I realized I'm done being afraid. She took his hands. I love you. Not because of the contract. Not because you saved my father. But because you're kind and funny and passionate. Because you see the best in people. Because you make me want to be braver. I love you, Ryan Mitchell, and I want to spend the rest of my life proving it to you. Ryan kissed her deeply, not caring that they were in a public hospital waiting room. When they finally broke apart, both were crying and laughing simultaneously. So where does this leave us? Amelia asked. Do we tear up the contract? Start over. We do whatever you want, Ryan said. But personally, I'd like to keep the contract as a reminder of where we started. And then I'd like to renew our vows properly, with all our friends and family, and pledge ourselves to each other for real this time. I'd like that too, Amelia agreed. But first, there's someone else who needs to be part of this conversation. They went to Thomas's room. He was awake and looking much better, the color returning to his face. Dad! Ryan and I have something to ask you, Amelia began. Actually, I have something to ask, Ryan interrupted, suddenly looking nervous. He turned to Thomas. Sir, I know I already married your daughter once, but I'd like to do it again, properly, with your blessing this time. Not because of a contract or an arrangement, but because I'm madly in love with her and can't imagine my life without her. So, Thomas Brooks, may I have your daughter's hand in marriage? For real this time? Thomas's eyes filled with tears. Son, you had my blessing the moment I saw how you looked at her. Yes, 1,000 times. Yes. 6 months later, the second wedding was nothing like the first. Instead of a grand library with business associates, they got married at the small church where Amelia's parents had wed 30 years earlier. The guest list was tiny. Thomas, Jade, a few close friends from Amelia's school, and Ryan's most trusted colleagues. Thomas walked Amelia down the aisle again, this time fully healthy. The artificial heart had worked perfectly, and a donor match had been found 3 months earlier. He'd successfully received his transplant and was recovering beautifully. Second time's the charm, Thomas whispered as they reached the altar where Ryan waited. This time, There were no prepared speeches or carefully crafted vows designed for public consumption. Just two people speaking from the heart. "Amelia," Ryan began, his voice steady and sure. "6 months ago, I married you out of necessity. Today, I marry you out of choice. Every single day, I choose you. I choose your kindness, your strength, your terrible jokes, and the way you sing off-key in the shower. I choose the life we're building together. And I promise to keep choosing you every day for the rest of our lives." Amelia smiled through happy tears. "Ryan, you taught me that the best things in life are the ones we never planned for. You came into my world during my darkest moment and became my light. You showed me what it means to be truly loved, truly seen, truly valued. I don't need a contract to commit to you. My heart did that the moment you promised to be gentle with it. And you have been. So gentle, so patient, so perfect. I love you, and I can't wait to spend forever proving it." When they kissed this time, it was without hesitation or uncertainty. It was the kiss of two people who had fought for their love and won. The reception was held in the church garden. Jade gave a hilarious toast about how she knew from day one that Amelia was in trouble because she couldn't stop talking about the billionaire with kind eyes. Thomas made everyone cry by thanking Ryan for not just saving his life, but for loving his daughter the way she deserved. But the biggest surprise came when Catherine Chen, from the board, stood up. "I wasn't invited to your first wedding," she said with a smile, "but I'm honored to be here for the real one. Ryan, on behalf of the entire board, I want to apologize. We pushed you into an impossible situation, and somehow you turned it into something beautiful. Your honesty during that interview didn't just save the company. It reminded all of us what really matters. Love, family, integrity. The stock price recovered within 2 weeks, but more importantly, you showed us the kind of leader we want. One who values people over profit." She raised her glass. "To Ryan and Amelia, may your love continue to inspire us all." As the sun set and the party continued, Ryan pulled Amelia away for a private moment in the church garden. "I have something for you," he said, pulling out a small box. "Ryan, you already gave me a ring," Amelia protested, looking at the beautiful diamond on her finger. "This is different," Ryan said, opening the box. Inside was a delicate silver necklace with a small pendant engraved with words. "I promise to be gentle, my love." "So you never forget," Ryan said softly as he fastened it around her neck. "That first promise I made to you at our first wedding, it's the one I'm most proud of keeping." Amelia touched the pendant, overcome with emotion. "You've kept every promise, Ryan, every single one. I always will," he said. Pulling her close, they swayed gently to the music drifting from the reception, lost in their own world. "Can I tell you a secret?" Amelia whispered, double quotes, "Always. I'm pregnant." Ryan froze, then pulled back to look at her with wonder. "Are you serious?" Amelia nodded, laughing at his expression. "I found out yesterday. I wanted to wait until today to tell you." Surprise. Ryan let out a whoop of joy that probably scared half the wedding guests. He picked Amelia up and spun her around, both of them laughing like children. "We're having a baby," Ryan said in awe, setting her down gently. "A real baby." "I hope so," Amelia teased. "I'd be concerned if it was a fake one."